All right, what's up, folks? Got the 2012 CC Sport. This was just an update video from several years ago. I look back at my old videos when I started working on this car, and time flies by, man. It's been 3 years. So within those 3 years, we had front crank seal, we had the lifter fail, or the rocker arm fail. I got those videos with that. Recently, I didn't document it, but the water pump failed. Got a new water pump on here. So, and the only thing that's been going on, and I have put a turbo on here too, over the course of 3 years. And there was some other things, but I said it to say, it's still consuming oil. And I just want to give you a full update of what's going on as far in regards to the oil and what I did to help mitigate oil loss and having to frequently fill the oil and what we've just been going through just in general. So what's going on today? I just had to replace the blower motor. The blower motor took a crap on her. Had water in there and failed. But I do have to put some spark plugs in here. Oh yeah, they had to replace the centrifuge, this PCV system. Forgot all about that. So in regards to the oil consumption problem, the vehicle, we would always put 5W30 in there. And we just tried different weights, went from a 5W30 to a 1030. From a 1030, it just really didn't get too much better with a 1030. But what helped a significant amount was going to diesel oil, 1540. And we've been doing that for a couple months, and that has significantly slowed down the oil usage, and it has significantly reduced the fouling of plugs. Let me grab one. You have to pull them connectors off a lot. Ain't gonna last that long, but so long. Now, as far as what normally would fail, it would always be cylinder 3, and I would assume it's because of the PCV system, since oil comes into here, and this is cylinder 3 right here. There's the runner for that. You go right into that chamber, and it would just foul that plug. So this was my test dummy as far as plug quality to running condition, because this was the one that would always get most of the oil. I guess like a double whammy. I already replaced that plug because I had to. I'll show you that also, because we're just updating the plugs. So here's number 1. And this does not have to be changed on a regular basis. Number 1, this is really good. And I'm going to tell you why it's really good. Not just because of the oil that we changed, but because it's a hotter plug. I've been using hotter plugs in this car for a long time. This is an AP606. If I put factory plugs in here, it just fouls right off the bat. They're wet, they're black, and it just doesn't comply with this engine anymore. So that's why I went to a hotter plug, and we've been using that for about a little over a year. No problems. This lady drives like an old lady. She doesn't drive her car hard. She drives normal. Look how good this one looks. This has been in there since I've installed these plugs a while ago. AP606. It just, the hotter plug is not going to allow the oil to accumulate, and being that they burn hotter, this is perfect. Look how good this one looks. This is perfect. This is number 4. This is how all the cylinders should look ideally, but because they have, I think they probably have varying compressions. I ain't got time to do a compression test. I got so many cars I got to work on. But ideally, it needs to look like number 4. And I guess because of where the PCV is, it'll probably consume oil more likely on these ends here, I guess. But that cylinder probably has a lot more compression than all the other ones. Maybe the cylinder walls are better lubricated. I don't know. But this plug looks great. If I can get all of them to look like this, we would never have to worry about, she wouldn't have any oil consumption issues. And again, this is an AP606 part number. Now you can see, I forgot which one this was. I think this probably was number 2. But you can see there's still some type of oil tracking. You know, oil is still getting in there. And if I put the camera down inside the cylinder, you'll be able to see oil on the cylinder wall. So, could be several reasons, but I think the piston rings are probably bad. These look way better than you will ever get with the factory plug. And they're auto lights. This is just put platinum in there. AP606. I think that part number's on here, somewhere on there. So, it's a personal preference. You know, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, well, it's turbo, you shouldn't have to put hot plugs in a turbo car. Yeah, that is correct, but under normal driving conditions, you're not gonna have any problems. You're not. And again, this has been I want to say 2 years. It's been over 1 year, close to 2 years we've been using hot plugs and not have been having to replace the plugs as often. And it's only this cylinder here, because again, of where the PCV system is, that we've been having to periodically replace it. But since we changed the oil to a 1540 to the Rotella, it's been far and in between. Pop those coils back in there. Still had a little lube on it. Just that quick. And again, these are AP606. I'm just going to keep saying it because some people be asking, hey, what was the part number you use? But this is number 4, and these are the other 2. Number 3 I already replaced already because I pulled that out just so I wouldn't forget the part number. And now these are platinum. So, and again, this is under normal driving. She don't gun this car. She doesn't drive this car like hard. She doesn't push the pedal to run through stoplights. You know, it's just she pushed that accelerator pedal for this thing to move, and that's it. So let me start up so you can hear it. Oh, before I do, let me check the oil level first. Yeah, so it's got plenty of oil in it. Put it in there, pull it back out. It's got plenty of oil in it. So it went from having to add a couple quarts every 2 weeks to once, maybe every 2 weeks. And the engine still runs perfectly fine. blower motor in there I had it installed. So I don't know if anybody else is, curious as far as what went on. I think I get some comments. I want to say I've got some as far as updates. So this is that update as far as like 3 years ago, current situation with this same 2012 Volkswagen CC Sport. There's no oil leaks. I mean, there's like a smidgen, but it's nothing significant that's going to cause this car to lose oil. I've seen valve cover leaks bad enough to where they still hold oil through oil changes, but there's so many variables what cause cars to consume oil. This one in particular has had a cylinder head replaced from the dealer some years ago. I want to say about 5 years ago, and it still would have been eating oil. Turbo was pushing oil, replaced that, and it had underboost conditions. Catalytic converter. Oh yeah, I did replace a catalytic converter because of underboost conditions. That fixed that. It was clogged up, got to the point where it wouldn't accelerate properly. But that was probably primarily due to the oil consumption problem, because it would eat the oil, spit it back out into the catalytic converter, and it eventually caused it to clog up. So turbo was replaced, catalytic converter was replaced, and we still had oil consumption problems with the 5W30. And again, we went to the Rotella 1540, and that slowed down things a lot. Some people say, well, you can't put certain viscosity weights in vehicles. Logically speaking, depending on the driving habits and the environmental conditions, that does hold some weight. But from our climate, we have an average climate. It's pretty normal. We don't have extreme temperatures, and it's getting spring and summer at the current date. So 5W30 is going to work just fine. And even then, with the winter coming, it just got over winter. She was still using 5W30, no issues. 1540 with no problems. So even during the winter time, it didn't, with the 5W30 before, it wouldn't help. It was just eating oil and fouling plugs really bad. And this is the best I've seen the plugs look with going to a hotter range, but not just from that, but going to a thicker weight oil. So I don't know what a 2050 would do, but at the moment, a 1540 is working just fine. And she's obviously understanding the fact that it's cheaper just to constantly add oil in here than just to throw a whole motor in here, and the car might not really be worth it. So we're all on the same page. This car is as good as it's going to get with what it's got going on with itself. There's no knocking, no pinging. There's nothing abnormal when driving this vehicle with the 1540 in there. And I just wouldn't be shocked if somebody probably put 2050 in there, if somebody has done that. And I'm kind of curious to see how that will work. But as far as the oil, the Rotella, I mean, it's using diesel vehicles. It has ultimate protection. And this car is working fine. But if you have any questions, hopefully I covered everything as far as what I've been doing. And again, the primarily the plugs and the oil type. And I wish I had this vehicle, I don't want to say more often, but as far as I'm concerned, from what I talk to her on a regular basis, every few weeks, she does add oil in there once every 2 weeks right now, from what I understand. And again, it's holding oil very well. Before, I would get the misfires it felt like once a week. I had to put a plug in here once a week. The hot plugs helped, but changing the weight oil helped a whole lot. So if anybody have any questions, ask in the not the description, but in the comment section, and I'll do the best I can. But I just hope I covered all my bases: what was repaired, what was replaced, who, what, when, where, how, and why. And that's it. So if you have any questions, hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed how to research my work. See you on the next one.